In this video, we're going to focus on AQA English Language Paper 1, Question 2. As always, it's well worth looking at the assessment objective for the question before you begin. Question 2 on Paper 1 tests AO2, which asks you to write about how writers use language and structure to achieve effects and influence readers, using relevant subject terminology to support your views. But for this question, you're only asked to deal with the language in the source material. You'll be given a short extract of the source to zoom in on. It'll have been chosen to give you plenty of interesting words, phrases, and features to work with. The question will ask you how the writer uses language, and the bullet points below the question are there to remind you to stay focused on the language the writer uses. You don't have to write about all of the things in the bullet points, though. They're just a guide. In the time you have for this question, writing about 3 different language features and their effects would be plenty. In fact, 3 is a good number to remember for this question. Question 2 is worth 8 marks, and you can gain those marks by showing 3 different things in your answer. These 3 things are very clearly broken down in the mark scheme for the question, so let's take a look at that next. We can see from the bottom 2 bullet points in each level that the first thing you need to do is pick out some of the interesting language or language features, the textual details, and identify them using subject terminology, or giving them their correct names where you can. But what's most important when answering this question is to focus on a language feature that you feel you can say something interesting about. Don't worry if you can't remember the correct term for the word. The most important thing is that you're able to talk about the effect of the word on you as the reader. So you might say something like, in the extract, the writer uses adjectives such as, and then pick out 1 or 2 to focus on. Remember, the source material will always be fiction and from a novel or short story from the 20th or 21st century. So it's a good idea to revise the key language features used in creative writing. Things like metaphors, similes, and personification. You might even be revising those for a literature exam, so you can use that knowledge here too. So, the bottom 2 bullet points are asking you to show your knowledge about language, but the top bullet point is very different. This one is asking you to show a skill rather than knowledge. Remember, the first part of AO2 is about how writers use language to achieve effects and influence readers. What this means is how do those different examples of language affect you personally, because you're the reader. This is the real test of your reading skill, as it's asking you to write down how you respond to those features or words. The effect, with an E, is about how you're affected, with an A. So a comment on effect is not about what a word or phrase means or implies. It's about what's in your imagination when you read certain words in a beautiful description, how you feel when you read the interesting features in a tense or spooky story, or what you think of when you read particular phrases in a mysterious opening to a novel. This is when you're really analysing and showing AO2 skill. We'll leave it there. To round up, to be successful on AQA Paper 1 Question 2, select around 3 interesting types of words, phrases, or language features from the extract you're given. Give the correct names to the features you pick out, and make sure you give correct examples, the textual details. Then, stop, think, and plan before you make a comment on the effect of the features. Ask yourself, what do I think? What do I feel? What do I imagine? To help you along. It would be a great idea to practice this approach and see how it works. Why not try the AQA-style paper attached to this pod? Good luck!